This is Tales from the Crawl Space, Inebriated Termites 2, The Drunkening. When it comes to funny pest control podcasts, there can be only one. No, that's not a good line. Hold on. Alright, let me, Oh, yeah. When it comes to funny pest control technicians, there can be only one. Wait, no, there's two hosts. Shit. I gotta think of something. First thing that comes to my head, okay? 3, 2, 1. Baba boo it. No, fucking... Just start the podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Tales from the Crawl Space podcast. I, of course, am your co-host, Brad Harvey, and with me, as always, is the lovely and personable Jack Starry. Jack, man, how you doing, stranger?
I'm feeling real fresh, virile, vigorous, and potent.
Ooh, the G. Gordon Liddy. Yeah. Love it. I am tanned, rested, and ready. So, we had a month off. We we actually missed every damn one of you. Well, almost every damn one of you. But it was as much as we missed you, it was nice to be able to get back, kind of kick back and kind of do our own thing. Jack, I know, got to see a lot of good bands and spent a lot of time doing some good music. And I spent most of my time selling shit and working and stuff. So I was able to pull a February is usually a slow time for us here in the biz, and I was able to put some focus into it and get some things done. So at least the little neck of the woods that I'm at is off on a good start for the year.
Hell yeah.
And so, but it's not all about business. Tonight we're here to have some fun and chat a little chatty chat.
Yeah. What is your inebriation fluid for this evening, Mr. Brad?
Okay. Of course, as it's one of my usual go-tos. It is, of course, the Evan Williams Bottled in Bond.
Nice.
Once again, I call this my retirement fixed income bourbon because the price point can't be beat. It's 100 proof. It's aged just under a week, and it is delicious. And like I always say, the flavor defies its age, and it's a really good go-to. And at 100 proof, you're gonna get where you're going pretty quick.
That's what I say about my penis, that the flavor defies its age. So,
and Jack, I noticed that you are drinking a band tonight.
I am. One of the bands I went to go see in Charlottesville, Virginia was Blackberry Smoke. They're a Southern rock band. They're my absolute favorite band ever. And I am enjoying, from New Realm Brewery in Virginia Beach, Virginia, Blackberry Smoke American Lager. And God damn, it's good. I didn't even know it existed until I got to the concert. They had it at the bar. I'm like, well, shit, give me one of those.
Which came first, the band or the beer?
Oh, the band came way before. Actually, they got their nick. Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes gave them their name at a Battle of the Bands in Atlanta, Georgia, before anybody knew who the hell they were.
Good fuck out, really?
No, seriously, yeah.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, that's my shit right there, Blackberry Smoke. And they played at the Jefferson Theater, and I ran into the fucking lead singer, lead guitarist out on the little walking mall in front of where the theater was. He was just walking around, fucking around on his phone. I was like, holy shit, Charlie? And he's like, hey, fucking shit. It was great. Ran into him. Had a good talk. It was great. Fucking awesome.
Awesome.
And the week before that, I went to see the Dead South, which is that progressive bluegrass thing. That was fucking awesome. They were great. And they had an opener from Saskatchewan named the Jake Vitaland Group. And it's he does it like 1950s type Johnny Cash style, but it's rock. It's like a cross between rockabilly and bluegrass. It's actually really good.
Wow.
So
cool,
that was two awesome shows I went to. So I had a fantastic time, and I enjoyed my hiatus for sure.
Awesome. So it sure sounds like you did. And I guess while we were lollygagging around for the month of February, a lot of other exciting things happened. I understand there was a little conflab down in Texas. The Babes of the Bug business was going on.
Oh yeah, the Women in Pest Control down in Texas, and we had Jenny Wilson, Jacqueline Levis was down there. They got kind of hooked up and and kind of palled around there. And there's a couple other people that I'm trying to remember the names of right this second because I'm horrible, but I wrote it down somewhere.
I think Tiffany Morrow was down there too.
Tiffany Morrow, and a new cheese bag that's being brought into the fold named Christy Garcia.
Man, I'm telling you what, man. Lady cheese bags, they're my favorite kind of cheese bag.
Hell yeah, and there's a picture that apparently was taken for PCT magazine, and we got two of our cheese bags rocking tails from the Crawl Space t-shirts.
Get out of here. No shit.
Fuck yeah.
That's great. Holy mackerel.
So good on them. I wanted to give some love to a gentleman that lives up in Pennsylvania that got a job working for Thomas and Bomberger, the place I used to work for. Now, I'm not going to get out his real name, but on Instagram, you can find him as Drummer of Drill Press on Instagram. Mm-hmm. He's a great guy. Came to me about trying to find a new job because where he was at was really dicking him over. It was the Big O that was doing it to him. And I referred him to this company, and he got on, and apparently things are going fucking awesome for him. So good on you, man. Fucking enjoy that place. That's a great fucking place. It'll take good care of you, man. I'm happy for you.
Nothing makes me happier than to hear about guys and gals coming into the business and just being really excited about it. Now, you know, my only hope is that they're able to maintain that excitement through, and it all boils down to where you end up landing too. I mean, you know,
yeah, I
could definitely see somebody landing somewhere and just really enjoying it, getting engaged and having that camaraderie and, you know, loving the work, loving the customers, being able to do what they can to do, you know, have a manager that not only catches them doing something right, but does it often. And, instead of catching them doing something wrong. And it's great. And then, you know, on the other hand, I can see certain other companies that, you know, you get there and next thing you know, you're just a number and you're grinding those numbers out for them. And that's all you are. So,
well, I'll tell you,
it sounds like this guy's in the right place.
He's a sponge too. He wants to learn every possible thing he can, and he's in the right place to do it because they take care of their people and they give you every possible advantage you can get. So he's in a good spot. He's a good guy in the right spot, and I'm happy for him.
Right on. So today we are back. It is March the 1st. And I also want to throw a shout out to my late friend Randy Struther. Today would have been his birthday, and Randy, we miss you, you fargan bastard. And,
happy birthday, Randy!
Happy birthday! It's like, you know, I remember last year, you know, I sent you a message that, you know, wishing you the happiest of birthdays, and I know you're having a happy one now. That, you know, my only regret is that I wasn't able to give you what you wanted for your birthday last year. But you know what? I think you're in a better place, man.
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, Randy. Oh.
Well, on to the inebriation, my friend.
Okay. So, speaking of inebriated, we have a guest.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We have Mr. Mike Sheridan. I believe you're up from New York way. Is that correct, Mr. Mike?
Yeah, the capital region, the capital of New York, Albany.
Hot damn. Great to have you on the show. We're gonna bitch and complain about termite shit today. So I hope you're gonna get inebriated one way or the other, and I think I know which way you're getting inebriated. So
yeah. Everybody, all of our regular listeners might remember Mike from our last pizza party episode. And so he got to join in and reap the rewards for a year well executed by having his one slice of pizza.
Yes. Just one air dried, sitting in the box for 5 hours before you get back to the shop, curled up edges slice of pizza.
Yeah. So, Mike, it's great to have you back, and we really do appreciate you adhering to the one slice only policy at the last pizza party. And you know, we're gonna try to make you feel a little bit more at home today. So,
well, thanks for having me, guys. I'm happy to be here, ready to talk about termites.
All right. Okay, let's talk about termites. Termites. This is the Christmas season coming up. It's when those little bastards sprout their wings, get up in the air, start fucking. And then, the females go back down and start their colonies, and the males pluck their wings off and roll over and fall asleep.
Well, when they start fucking, it's always good when the females go down again. That's
right. And you can smell it, too. You walk into a room with a bunch of swarming termites, and it's like, oh, man, there's termite coos going on in here.
Termite Jana. I can smell me some termite Jana.
That's right.
That's a good shit.
That's right. And, woo. And yeah, it's just like anything else. It's heady as fuck. But and we all know what it smells like. What's it smell like, Jack?
Oh, to me,
it smells like money. That's what it smells like.
Oh yeah. You got me. I was gonna get all technical on you and shit, but no, you're exactly right.
There's a slight pungent umami aroma to it.
It went over my head too.
Yeah. Well, it's like, when it comes to that, there's umami and there's umami.
Umami, which is what you say when you add that extra zero on that proposal for the termite work. Umami.
That's right. Yeah. And
I was giving one of my new employees a rundown of some of the regular daily jokes in the group, and that's when I got to tell her, what is that? What is this? Money. Everybody's like, can you ID this? It looks like money to me.
It's money. Yeah. money. We're a bunch of mercenary bastards, I know, but this is our season. This is our season. This is Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa all rolled up into one. Which Christmas, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah are fucking rolled up into one anyway. But
they kind of are. The Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, something like that. Yeah, but you've had all winter to scrimp and save and not do shit. It's our turn. It's our turn.
Yeah, this is the time of year where you don't get to hear. So your boss walks in. You're done taking a piss. You're washing your hands. You're wiping on, and you go throw the paper towel in the trash can. Why aren't you reusing that?
Well, I'll tell you, termite jobs sell themselves almost, because once you get a massive amount of swarmers that show up in your house. And you realize that, oh, my God, they're going to eat my house, because they're going to hear from their neighbor, Karen, oh, my God, Billy had his house just completely eaten in about 3 hours.
That's right.
So when that happens, everyone's going to go ape shit, and then you're going to be like, how am I just going to stick an extra zero, that umami zero, on the end of that?
That's right. It's the umami zero. Yeah. And anytime you get at that fucking thing, and you got to stay on your hands. And, yeah, you don't even have to. You look at the little thing. Yeah, that's a termite. That's a termite. Yeah, it's like, how can you tell it's a termite? It's a flying ant. No, it's not a flying ant. It's like, what's the Beverly Hillbillies analogy? Okay, the ant is Ellie Mae because it's got the little thing, and then the termite is Miss Jane Hathaway because she's just like straight body.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you get a millennial's house, they're not going to understand that reference, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they will, because they sit around and watch Beverly Hills. It's in syndication. They'll know.
Well, do the Katy Perry and Ellen DeGeneres reference then.
Oh, God. Yeah,
Ellen
that's a good one. Yeah. Ellen DeGeneres, yeah. Straight as an arrow.
Yeah.
But termites, I tell you, my favorite damn termite job, and it was the easiest sale. I had a warehouse that was a soda distribution warehouse in Jessup, Maryland. Huge fucking place. And they put the office area over top of the seam on the concrete slab, where they like silicone the seams up to seal them.
Mm-hmm.
And the slab must have been about 2 foot thick, because it was made for heavy fucking shit. And so the damn termites were coming up between the silicone seal, and it was almost like someone was blowing them out with an air hose, the way they were coming out of that fucking hole. They were all over the place. And they had the door duct taped shut, all the seams of the door, the bottom, the sides, everything. Mm-hmm. They were all cleared out of the office. They had the door taped shut. So I start pulling the tape, and people start backing away from the door, and I just kind of waltz in there. They're going up my nose and in my ear and in my mouth, and I'm just walking around. They're like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Like, I'm fine. They're not eating me, but I was covered in them. I come out, I was absolutely covered in them, and that was an easy sale. And I got the entire fucking warehouse. It was like a $10,000 termite job.
Beautiful. Yeah, the biggest one I ever sold was for Kellogg's Warehouse. Is when I was working at the Economics Laboratory Retriever. Funny thing is, they closed the damn plant a year later. But gosh damn, that was what, like a $10,000 sale or something like that. Maybe
Kellogg's Raisin Bran now with added swarmers.
Added legs. It is. Yes, Mommy, my raisins have legs and wings. Yeah, about this time, when termite swarm season hits, you always see these videos, like in other, in foreign lands. Termites must be delicious, because you've always got some bitch, picking them up off the ground and popping them in his mouth. Now he's either doing that for shock value or he's got a one-way ticket to Flavor Town. I don't know, but
Mike, are termites that a big enough issue up in New York? I mean, is it as bad as it is in other areas?
Well, I don't know if you guys noticed, as you were just telling that story, did you see the look on my face? That doesn't as far as I know, that is not how our termites are here. I have never had that kind of situation at all. Here,
oh wow,
we just find some damaged wood in the basement right at the sill. It's usually during a home inspection. In fact, I would say 90 to 95% of our WDO calls are from home inspections, not from people finding. We do have swarm season, but I'm feeling like it's a lot. It's not quite as intense. It does happen, but not how you guys are describing it. We only have subterranean termites. I don't know if that's the same for you guys.
I'm in Indiana, so all we have is eastern subterraneans. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It just seems like at a lesser degree. I mean, even in my region where I do pest control up north, we don't have termites. It's just particular areas. It's pretty unique. It seems like.
Yeah, that kind of blows my mind.
Back in the day when I was doing WDOs, we called them WDIRs. Back before they changed it, I can't even remember the name of the form. It was there's a number
form 33.
Yep.
That's right. Thank you. Yep. And there's that battle where if you find a house that has termite damage, even if it's old, I know in the state of Maryland, you ended up fighting with the state as to whether they needed a termite job or if they already had a termite job done, and you had to get documentation of the termite service that was done to give them a passing letter saying that it was termite damage that has been addressed.
Okay.
So, and it was a pain in the ass because the state would go, oh, but they got termite damage. Well, no, they actually had a job. Here's the paperwork. Here's when it was done. What's the problem? Because some people, I mean, it's like a little tiny house, a little shack that these people were buying because it's the only thing they could afford. And then someone's wanting to stick a whole other fucking termite job on top of when they're already trying to get the down payment for the house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I have documentation. Right. The house was done. They don't need to pay anything. They don't need to buy, and if for some reason they did, I'd try to find a way to, I'd say like, look, I got this really cheap shit I can use,
Chat, you know what? That's not on the form anymore. That there is that where you check a box that says that this there is evidence that shows that this house has been previously treated.
They took that off? What
it
the
is
fuck?
Not there.
It's still on my form.
It kind of blew me away when I didn't see it. And but I don't have it on. See, I do my forms. Our forms are paperless, so Pest Pack is what we're using right now. And we, you can attach an Indiana form, but each state has a different form, I guess. And on the Indiana one, it's not there. It is not. It used to be there. I remember seeing it in the past,
right?
But it had been shit. I mean, when I worked at Scarlet Letter, I did maybe 1 or 2 WDIRs tops in the 11 years I was there. But Christ on a stick, I've been doing them all over the fucking place with Trio. And but yeah, I mean, it's just flat out not there, man. I mean, there's places I can put notes on there saying, hey guys, this has been treated, and it looks like it's been done recently. I'm not seeing any evidence. Let's give this fucker a pass. But but it's not. There's not a set box on there anymore where you can check it.
Well,
and,
Mike, I know
it kind of blew me away, but that's fine. But that's fine too, because if it's not there, that means all right, we got some termite evidence here. I'm gonna go ahead and measure this fucker out, and put a proposal down.
I'm gonna sell this one.
Money.
But Mike, you can't use Termidor in New York, can you?
Well, so this is wild. We can use Termidor, New York. We can use Taurus, New York. And
so
from what I've I'll tell you something. Yes, but I'll tell you something funny is that what I've been told, and I have not confirmed this yet, is that Taurus, New York is the exact same label. It just says Taurus, New York. I actually have my rep from the Site One rep who gets the Taurus there. I have his name and number. I got it last week. I need to ask him if that's true.
Yeah, I'd like to know just out of curiosity. I mean, I know that New York's kind of got a stranglehold on pest control guys in a lot of ways for things you can't do.
Not as bad as California, though.
No, that's
not
true.
Even close. Not even close to California.
Day. It's like I was on PCHD today, and we've got some Cali cheese bags out there. It's like it's Fipperdale Day, woo! And I was just like, fucking fipronil.
I thought you were
I'm in
kidding.
Indiana. To me, every day is fipronil day.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke or something.
No, maybe I don't think so. I think they have like a slot in time where they could. That's the only time in the year that they can fucking apply fipronil.
What the fuck?
I don't. What?
God, I'm sorry.
my
California, at least Northern California, it's beautiful country and everything. I would fucking live there if you paid me.
No, fuck no.
I thought you were kidding. We didn't think that it was kidding in the group. We thought you were telling a joke, right?
No.
God damn, that is crazy.
Apparently, it's actually the case. You know.
So let me tell you guys. So I was saying about this region and how it differs in the even in my immediate area, how it differs, how the termite situations. I grew up 2 hours west in New York from where I'm sitting right now, and there were no mentions of termites. There were no termites in the Syracuse area. As far as I know, there are no termites. So it does differ a lot. And Jack, what we've been talking about with those forums and things, and Jack kind of related to the story you just told. A job that I'm in the middle of right now, what I end up doing is our home inspectors in my area are pretty darn good at citing WDO. They often get it wrong which WDO, but they don't miss that the wood is off. And that's plenty. And I get called all the time to go in behind them and confirm. So it's not a full house inspection. It's not a WDO inspection. I get paid to just go to the spot, confirm, and then write up the treatment.
Okay.
And so in a job that I'm on right now, I went out to a little town. It's a Greenfield or something like that. And there's 2 crawl spaces. The first crawl space had massive powder post beetle damage and current activity. So that had to be done. So I had to write that up, but I was there to confirm that. The second crawl space had not been cited at all. But and the home inspector is really, really good. So I almost breezed through that part, but I didn't. I just don't really have it in me. So the last stud that I got to, or rafter that I got to, had some small powder post, so I had to write that one up too. So I'm going to treat both of those crawl spaces for with Boracare for powder post beetle, and then at that point that wood will be okay. So,
that's the thick shit, isn't it? That's the stuff you got to use, like one of those paint stirs.
Boracare, God, I hate that shit.
You need the paint stirred with the drill and warm water to get that shit mixed up right.
Dude, I'm a Tim Bore guy. I'll admit it. Yeah. It's like this stuff's great because you can take Tim Bore, you can take a 5-gallon bucket, you can measure out what you're going to need based on that, and then you can just make like a slurry of that stuff in the bucket. Hammer, seal it all up, close the bucket, take it to the site, and mix it there like that. And it's actually pretty good. Because I just last Friday, I did a powder post beetle job out in Cumberland, and I was like, usually I like to take like a B&G, but it was too big of a crawl space. I want to, then I've got a backpack flow zone type sprayer, and that's usually good for borate too. The crawl space was way too tight. I mean, the opening of this crawl space was an old coal chute lid, coal chute opening thing where they'd shovel the coal in and shit. But they made that a crawl space door, so it was like it was almost like anal sex to the house. I mean, I was so tight going in and coming
you have
out.
My attention.
Like, my house was. I knew I would. And me getting out there was like giving birth. But so I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to use my my gas rig on this one because there's just no room for a big fucking tank and shit. So I was able to. I didn't want that shit sitting in my tank and settling. So I got a nice thick slurry going in a bucket. Fortunately, it was the bucket for Tim Bore, so it had the nice lid with the gasket and everything. Got my shit mixed with hot water, got it dissolved and everything. So it was just a matter of me when I got on site, just dumping that fucker in, finishing it off with another, 10 gallons of water, and I was off to the races, man. It was the easiest fucking job. Only problem is when you're using a termite rig to do your borate treatment, the fucking flow on that thing, you can't get it to go fine enough. I was by the time I got out, at the end of the day, my coveralls, I could stand them up by themselves. And they stood up on their own crust. And The really shitty part was I forgot about it, and Monday I had to go into a crawl space and I had to put them fucking things back on. And I was like,
crusty.
This is a problem. It's like I was like bored, man, trying to wiggle my way into the damn crawl space. But I just fucking, I'll be honest with you, I just fucking hate powder post beetle work. Just because of that.
Hey, Mike, when Brad made the comment about the giving birth thing, did your brain go to the Ace Ventura sliding out of the ass of the rhino?
So it should have, but I'll tell you. My immediate thought was
the miracle of life.
Feet first. I was wondering how he left the crawl space. Head first.
Okay.
Feet first.
Okay. Mike. It's no small secret that I'm a fat fuck, right? So here's how I get into crawl spaces. A lot of people will just like Gribble, the guy that I work with. He fucking just goes in head first. He dives right in. He's like right into that damn crawl space. Me, no. I got to go in legs first, toes up. Set my ass down in the well and then wiggle my way into the crawl space.
Okay.
I do the same thing getting out. And because I can't do that on my belly shit and arch up like that. I'm just not that flexible. You know, I'm fat. But I manage. I had one crawl space today. I thought I wasn't gonna get out. I got in fine because it was like, you know, it's like putting an oversized pickle in a bottle. It's like, you know, I got down to the well, and then it's just a matter of me going back, right? But getting out, I was like, I get my ass into the well, and I got my elbows up, trying to raise myself, and I'm like, my gut is hitting the wall of the house, and I'm just like, fuck. I said, I'm going to fucking die. I said, I need to call Bill again. I was like, shit, my phone's in the truck. So I'm like, oh God. And you get to a point, it's like, okay, stop, breathe, think. And then, so I was like, okay, you can't call anybody. This is too embarrassing. You can't stay here because, you know, you'll die. And, you know, there's no food or anything in a crawl space. I'm sorry. Spiders are down there, but it's not enough protein to sustain you until you can lose enough weight to get out of the crawl space. But so it's just like, then it's just determination. Then you're just like, you know, you grit your teeth, you get on there and you're, okay, there's pain. Fuck it. I got to work through it. And then just kind of wiggle. And next thing I know, I'm out. And then I've got my feet in the well, my ass is on the dirt. And I'm just like, I got to lose weight.
It's the one, that half circle of galvanized metal to that crawl space door where you got to kind of work yourself in just to get in it. But then you can't come out of it the way you went in it. So you're trying to get out of it backwards. Because you can't bend your back enough to actually bend to get out of it.
Right. Yeah. And then so I get done. I was like, oh God, I got to lose weight. I got to do better than this. And then so I celebrate my getting out of the crawl space by going to Sonic for lunch and getting a double Sonic super burger, and a big cherry limeade and a thing of tater tots and stuff. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll see the next crawl space. You know?
So guys, listen. This no offense, but sorry about my dogs.
No worries. Guys, dogs are welcome here at Tales from the Crawl Space.
They are nutty, but so I'm not fat, so I don't have any problems getting in and out of crawll spaces yet. But I don't have any hair, and you guys are both rocking full heads of hair over there. So
okay. Yeah. What's that got to do with the crawl space?
I don't have any trouble getting in and out. I was just trying to make
You just wanted us to feel better. I get it.
Yes. I'm not fat, but I am bald, and you guys are not. So
your point is your heart is bigger than your hairline.
His point is you have to lube up the head before you stick it in. That's what his point
right.
was.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think all three of us have seen that video. But anyway, So you know, termite treatment itself. Okay, we see the termites. We know they're there. We smell the money. We're drooling. We're salivating. We're getting the customer to sign on the line which is dotted. Okay, now what? Now what are we going to do? How are we going to attack this termite stuff? Mike, I will let you go first.
So in New York, in this area, what I have been trained and taught to do, and what I have been doing for years, we go into the basement. We confirm what was found. And oftentimes it can be termites. Mm-hmm. And so then we write up the treatments. And what we are always proposing is, if the basement is not finished, we want to treat the exposed wood with boracare. And then what we do is we put in the advanced termite baiting system outside. Every 8 feet is a station. I see that Jack doesn't agree with that. But remember, there was no trenching, even on new housing. As far as I know, there is no pre-treatments in the area. As far as I know, I could be missing something, of course. But so that's
okay. Fuck, man.
All right.
And I think most everybody's doing that way because everybody still goes and gets their stations. You know, if I win an account that somebody lost, I don't just take over that. Everybody comes and gets their advanced stations. So I think, and also we have accounts where we're doing other pest control work and somebody else has that termite job. And so I think that's mostly how it's done in my area for the most part.
Gotcha.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, point of reference in case you haven't heard on previous shows. I started doing termite. My start in the business was termite work before Termidor was even invented.
Okay.
So we were using premise. I'm at a clopin. We were using premise, which I fucking love. It lasts in the ground longer than Pimpernel anyways. But we did full interior, full exterior to include drilling the basement slab and double void drilling the wall block as well.
Oh, my God.
So we did full interior, full exterior, trench, treat, front door stoop, around the perimeter of the garage, all that shit. And so I'm dyed-in-the-wool conventional termite for doing that. Now, the thing I don't like about the advanced stations is they're so fucking big. It's like drilling a goddamn well for every fucking station you put in the ground.
Okay. I don't.
They're
They're not
huge.
that. I don't think they're that big, actually. And we have this little thing. Obviously, you know what this is. We just put it on our drill. We're on sand. Sometimes we just put our hand in the ground and pull out a pile and put the station in. I mean, so it's a little bit different. Now, everything is not sand here, but the bulk of our termite area is sand.
Well, in the eastern Piedmont region, it's a lot of clayey silt.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And that's a ditch.
Yeah.
In Indiana, I could take a handful of dirt, throw it on a potter's wheel, and I could throw a whole fucking kitchen, dining set.
You got that
out
red
of
clay.
It. I mean,
you got that
well,
black
we don't
clay,
have
don't you?
red clay. It's more the color of dog shit. We got a lot of clay here, and I'll tell you what, when you're drilling a hole in July in that clay, I don't care what you're using. It is a pain in the ass. And I'll tell you what, a lot of guys, with bait. Now, I have used bait for years. Okay. I'm a convert, but back in the day I used bait, and going into these places in July, these guys would bring these big earthquake augers and, gas powered 2-cycle. They get in there and they just be bouncing off of that damn hard pan. Right. And I'm just like, all right, stand back. Hold my beer. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna get my T-bar that's got two fangs that are in the bottom of it and the cylinder. And I would just take that and I'd just do this, right? And then I'd let my massive weight take that fucking thing down, and I'd pull out a plug so hard that you wouldn't believe it, and I could get that station in the ground. Wasn't easy, but it was a hell of a lot better than using a gas auger, because that thing just. I'm serious, man. It's just like, you'd see these fuckers, man. Bah, 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 bah. If they had a little chub to them, their fucking titties would be bouncing up and down, when they were doing it. And I was just sitting there just shaking my head, doing the old veteran thing, just kind of sitting there with my arms folded, just laughing silently to myself. And it's like, all right, guys, take a break. And I get that fucking T-bar and I just work them all in. Now, that was when I was down with bait. Like I said before, I'm a convert. I have discovered that a liquid treatment is the way to go with these fuckers. And I'll tell you why. BASF, Termidor people, they've come up with something great, and it's called Termidor HE. Now, back in the old days, when I first started in this business, we were using things like, Pryphon and Dursban TC and stuff like that. You had to dig a hole to China. You had to dig the Suez fucking Canal around the house, build a huge moat, and then it gets better, because then you'd have to go into the crawl space or the basement, drill all the block voids, fucking treat those, short rod those fuckers, fill them fuckers up, and seal them up if they were in a basement. If they're in a crawl space, you could leave them open. God knows why. And then you do around the outside too. You'd have to rod that fucker until you hit a Chinaman on the top of the head. and then you had to go all the way to the footer, 4 feet deep and all this other good shit. You were long rodding fucking stoops and all this other good crap, and it was just a big pain in the dick. So enter Termidor HE. Okay, Termidor itself, it was cool. You dig a 6-inch trench, 6 inches wide, 6 inches deep. You'd rod down, get the footer, 4 feet, blah, blah, blah. Termidor HE, you don't have to do that. Your trench is only 3 inches wide, 3 inches deep, and 2 foot. And when you're calculating your usage, you always go 2 foot depth of footer, which means you're using half the amount of product that you would normally use with Termidor SC. You're putting down a stronger concentration, and you're putting it down. The treatment zone is actually where the termites are going to be doing the most traffic, which is great. Cover it up with treated soil, you're good. Another advantage to the HE, which it shares with bait, is that Termidor HE, you're using so little liquid, the possibility of it leaching into somewhere where it shouldn't be is minimalized. And so that's really good. And where it beats bait versus where HE beats bait is that you have a continuous treated zone around the house. With bait, you have bait stations every 8 to 10 feet. Now, we know that termites will forage randomly in search of food. They will find a bait station eventually, take it back to the colony, leave a pheromone trail, blah, blah, blah. With Termidor HE, it's just a matter of them going through the treated zone, getting that termiticide on them. It's non-repellent, so it doesn't kill them right away. They take it back to the colony. Termites are social insects. One of the ways they communicate is touch. They pass that shit on to everybody. And it takes the colony out. Now imagine that happening tens of thousands of times every day, going through that treated zone and picking it up. I find it, I'm thinking you get pretty much, I would assume you would get quicker colony degradation with Termidor HE than you would with bait. For that simple reason. It's a game of numbers.
The password is trophallaxis.
Trophallaxis. Yes. Did you wear your trophallaxis today, Bill? I called you Bill. Sorry.
Freudian slip. Freudian slip.
That's right. Hey, man.
No, I do. My thing about bait, like you said, is that 8 to 10 foot per, where every station is, and you said eventually they're going to come across it. Eventually. Great. But in the meantime, before that eventually hits, they're still fucking working on your house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they have to happen upon it. It's not like, oh, we're putting this attractive bait. No, you're not. Because if I were to dig 2 holes in your yard, put a prime rib in one hole, and put your head in the other, you've got no fucking idea the prime rib's over there. So that being the case, you're hoping they come across the station. But with a conventional treatment, they don't have any fucking choice but to go through that barrier treatment if they want to get to the house at any point around the house. So that's why exactly. I'm Centricon certified. I had a company that sent me out with a cordless drill and a tulip bulb auger to put stations in, and I'm like, this fucker will last me 5 holes. That's all you're getting out of that. The rest of it's going to have to wait. They're like, oh no, it'll work. I'm like, no. 4 holes, and that fucking auger fell apart. Little tiny ass flimsy tulip bulb planting auger.
Yeah. At the Scarlet Letter, my boss, the ops manager, bought us one of those tulip augers, and it didn't last for shit. And I was like, fuck that. This is going with the new guy. I'm not using this. I was like, okay. We've stated our case about liquid. Let's give some bait. Let's give the bait a little bit of love. Bait has a place in a lot of places, and a lot of these places are. Say you've got a lakefront home. You've got a well that's close to the house, wellhead that's close to the house. Probably a better bet would be maybe put some bait around there just to keep things safe. You also have to worry about your hippie patchouli wearing, hippie customers. You still want to get their money. Their money's just as green as everybody else. And so you're going to have to pitch the environmental. Yeah, we're putting a lot less Termidor HE down in the, product down in the ground with Termidor HE. But with the bait, it's hippie friendly. So, you could get the bait, you can get that money. Now, again, with the Centricon system, I can't speak too much about any of the other systems because I think they're shit. But Centricon, their high density bait is actually probably the best bait out there. I mean, if you're going to go with bait, that would be what I would probably want. Every single one of the stations is hot. The stuff that lasts for years. And even when it starts turning to shit, the termites get even more excited about it. And in the 11 years that I actually used Termidor, God damn it, Centricon, I had a pretty high success rate. Not as high as I've been having with the Termidor, but it's still admirable. So, bait does have its places.
Mike, what's the active in advance?
There's not very many of them.
I'm gonna look it up right now, Jack, because you got me a little bit on the other side.
I was curious because I know that it's, and now Brad, is Centricon still Nova Flumeron? Is that what they're using? Is that still the active?
It is. Yeah. If you recall when it first came out, Centricon was a joke back when it came out. You would put the stations out, and it's basically the same green stations that they still have. But they'd have like two chunks of wood in there. And
I remember.
And then every month you would have to go out there and check them motherfuckers. And if you had termites in them, you'd pull the sticks out gingerly, put them into the tube with the bait, which was basically a rolled up piece of toilet paper soaked in hexaflumeron, which is what they were using back then. And then douse a little bit of bottled water in it and put it down there, and then get on your knees or stay on your knees and say a slight prayer that the termites actually survive chewing through that and get back to the colony to get the stuff to them. And then and then when you were done with that, you'd put 2 extra stations on either side of it. And it was a colossal pain in the ass. One reason is you're spent, the average Centricon inspection, if you're doing it right, averages about 35 minutes. Okay. That's 35 minutes of $0 that you're dealing with on those monthly re-inspections. So yeah, it was unprofitable. It was a pain in the ass. I think Dow AgroScience has picked up on that, or Dow Elanco back then, or whatever the hell they're calling themselves this week, and picked up on it. And then they went to another formula, which I believe was still hexaflumeron, but they were putting it in these little pellets that kind of look like
buttermints. Look at buttermints.
There you go. I was going to say water softener pellets, but yeah, buttermints will work. Then it was every 3 months to do that. But and then they went with the high density stuff, which, I mean, you could kill a man with one of these chunks of bait. They are hard. They're ready to party, just like me.
So it's like the Blue Max of termite bait.
Yes, the Blue Max of termite bait, exactly. And but it has improved. Like I said, I think bait does have a place in today's society. But I mean, after running with liquid again, and after doing re-inspections on jobs that I didn't even do from last year, and not finding a single termite alive in these houses, yeah, I'd say Termidor HE is the shits.
I would love to try it. I don't think anybody's doing that around here. I could be the first, but there's a pretty set way around here as far as I've seen in my travels.
Now, so you said you could use Taurus in New York. Is that correct? So you could use Taurus?
Taurus New York is the actual label.
Taurus New York.
Yeah.
Now, is that application rate the same as standard Termidors at 4 gallons for every 10 linear feet per foot to depth of footer?
Well, see, the thing is we use it for ants. We use it for ants. We're using it at 0.8 or 0.08, and that's the highest rate we're going to use it, and we're only using it one time a year if we use it at that rate.
Wow.
I actually have no experience using Taurus or Termidor for termites. 0.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Termidor HE, you apply it at a rate of 0.125%, which is damn near eggnog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like I said, you're using less liquid. There's less chance of it leaching out and blah blah blah.
No, it sounds great. Actually, I like the sound of it. Do you guys have any idea how we handle our advanced systems in the ground during the spring, summer, and fall?
No.
No, please enlighten us.
This is the model, and I'm gonna be gonna be interested to see what you guys think. But I also think I have figured out that where you guys are, termites might be worse. That might be. That's what I think is happening. But anyway, so when we have our customers that we have installed our advanced termite baiting system in the ground, right? We go back 3 times a season, spring, summer, and fall. We check every station. If this is how I do it. If the monitors are bad, need to be changed, we charge them for the new monitors at cost. We don't upsell or upcharge that. And the same if we pull out a monitor and there's termites on it, we charge them no upcharge at all on tree loan, and we pop it in the ground. That's how we do it, and we check the stations 3 times a season.
Oh, I know that Termite Centricon when I first started, because I got certified when Centricon was brand new, and you check that shit every month. You checked all the monitors. Then they came out with that little metal detector thing, which wasn't worth shit.
Yeah,
but the only thing it was good for is that you always had motherfuckers that would bury the stations in mulch,
dude.
And you had to go hunting for them.
Good Indian head nickels or Indian head quarter or Indian head pennies with that Centricon thing.
But you went digging for stations all the time, and it wasted. He said 35 minutes. Fucking 35 minutes is one side of the house when they bury them in fucking mulch.
Yeah,
I've seen that magnet. About 10 years ago when I started to really get into this industry, I saw what you're talking about. And so what that did for me is have me ask people for the advanced magnet and have people look at me like I was crazy. I was like, how can I find my stations, under the mulch? Because it happens all the time. But I don't think there's any way for advanced. Maybe now there is, but
really, the best way to find a station is just to send the same fucker out that installed it every time, and he may find 95% of them.
Take the graph with you. Just take the graph with you.
You'll find them. Graph my fucking ass. You know when I filled that graph out? I filled the graph out back in the office the next day. That's when I filled it out.
Because I remembered.
Boop.
Yeah,
I was using
there.
I didn't even put numbers on it, man. I took a highlighter and just went and then numbered those. And it's like, here you go. But shit, man. So, I'm getting a little inebriated. How about you guys?
I need to get another beer, so y'all have to fill in while I walk my ass over to the fridge. So I'll be right back.
Yeah. No. Hey, Mike, I always ask this question of our esteemed guests, and you're esteemed too. So what the fuck? If Tony Spangler was to make you any type of tumbler, what image would you like on it?
I had my answer before you were even done asking me.
Oh yeah.
I want a picture of Dan Bird with a legitimate smile on his face, please.
Oh, Dan with a smile, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man.
That's going to be a tall order, man.
Lately, but I think we can make him smile.
I think so too. I might be able to get on his Facebook profile and go back and maybe I might have a childhood picture or something like that. Would that count?
That would definitely count, and then him knowing that I had it would then make him smile.
Oh God, that totally would, man. Yeah. I love Dan Bird. He is like one of my favorite guys on the depot, and and it's just because he's so edgy.
Well, every time I hear
edgy, I mean, he's always on the fucking edge, man.
I know what you mean. A lot of it shows, thankfully, I think. But yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah. I'll tell you what, man. That Tony Spangler, man, he makes a great fucking tumbler. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I've got a few of them. I have of course my wonderful Paula,
my favorite. That's beautiful.
And I also, I got a really good one. I have a custom one that I asked him for back when all that whole Stanley, mug thing was going around, the pink mugs, everybody, basically it was, it was Taylor Swift, but could hold more. and so, I told Tony, Tony, I got something I want you to do. He goes, what you got? I said, I want a picture of a sheep drinking out of a Stanley tumbler, And the dude did it, man. I wish I knew who the fuck it was. I would show
You're
it
not
to you.
prepared.
But no, I'm totally unprepared for this. But yeah, I mean, if you can think it, Tony can make it. And of course, every one of these comes with a couple of great features. One of them is the rubber bottom, and Jack does like the rubber bottom. And of course, it does come with the surgical stainless steel urethral sounding rod. So say you've had a rough evening in Subic Bay in the Philippines, and you get up the next morning and you just can't seem to piss. And it was because of that lady boy that you nailed out there. And so it's like if you had a tumbler from Tony Spangler, then you would have the solution to your morning problem right there. You just run that fucker up and empty a bladder, and then go to a clinic. But until then, you could do it. And the first thing that doctor's going to ask you to do is fucking pee. So you might want to just tuck this in your pocket, and take it to the clinic with you. But anyway, Tony Spangler,
Anus Rooter. That's the name. Just flows so trouble down the drain.
But yeah. Yes, as endorsed by Paula Benedict, the Tony Spangler tumbler is the shiznit. And just look at it. Look for Spangler art on Facebook, and get yourself one. They're reasonable. They're awesome. As is Tony. So Tony Spangler's
fucking love
tumblers,
mine.
Man. Oh yeah,
I got a custom one for Christmas. It's kind of politically themed, but it's fucking awesome. So I love it. So love them. I got a whole shitload of them. I'm gonna have more. So I'm gonna have a whole fucking cabinet full of Tony Spangler tumblers. God for damn sure.
That's sweet. So. Yeah. I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna order another one. I just haven't decided quite what I want to do yet. But you know what? Damn, the Dan Bird smiling thing is intriguing as fuck.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I have to say something about Dan Bird. Dan Bird kind of strikes me. I'd love to hear him talk in the third person like Bob Dole. But Dan Bird likes to do termite work. Dan Bird kills the bugs.
Dan's got the height to be a politician.
Yeah, he does. Yep. Exactly. So, holy mackerel. What a day, man. Oh, you know what? We still got some stories, Jack. Oh, my God. We've been wallowing in our inebriation and forgot all about it. So
I even brought extra beers with me. I mean, look, I brought the one.
Oh, that's good.
I brought a couple more, so I brought extra beers.
Yeah, because I have a feeling you're going to need them here, buddy. So let's go. All right. Before I don't want to start slurring my words too much, so we better get these knocked out. So, okay, Robert Ayers has a lovely termite story, and he tells us, several years ago, I was sent on an estimate for a homeowner that was selling and needed a clearance letter. Okay, for those of you who do not know, clearance letter is the WDIR report in PMA 33 that we were discussing. When I arrived, I started on the exterior so I could get the basics of the graph started before inspecting the interior. The home was a split level with garage basement on one side. After completing the exterior, I noticed there were no crawl vents on the crawl space side. When I entered through the garage door, I couldn't find a door to the crawl either. I went upstairs and asked the homeowner how to get in the crawl space. What crawl space? We don't have any crawl space. It's a slab on this side. I tapped on the floor with the heel of my boot. No, there's no concrete under this. I can tell you right now there's a crawl space. I can smell it, and there's vents in the floor over there. Those vents don't work. At this point, I refused to issue a letter. Why? Because Robert Allen Ayers is a smart man. There is an inaccessible crawl space, and despite the homeowner's insistence, I need to access it somehow. I leave with the homeowner yelling that I'm trying to screw him over their sale. Because, that's what we do. We screw people. We get to the house, and the agent and homeowner are talking. My boss gets there a few minutes later, and we all go inside into the kitchen. Standing around, several of us stomp our shoes and boots on the floor. Everyone knows about the slabs and crawls and agrees it's hollow underneath. We end up knocking out several hollow blocks and exposing a crawl space the homeowners didn't even know was there. Termites? And termites? Yeah, the place was full of them. Buyer backed out, but I sold the job for several $1,000s.
Oh, my God. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he sent some pictures that were old and blurry, so I ain't going to fucking deal with them.
Well, I got to tell you,
that reminds me, and this is my little brush with fame type thing. I was in Bethesda, Maryland doing a WDO, and this old lady, really old lady, her bottom floor was on concrete, but it was like if you take pallets and make a floor out of pallets, and it was like wood on top of the concrete. And I'm like, ma'am, I can't see what's going on underneath this. I don't know what's going on. And she's like, well, I'm going to call my son, and I'll have him come out of here and talk to you because he's in town. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I start around, wait for like 20 minutes later, the dad from Home Alone pulls up in the fucking driveway and gets out of the car. I'm like, holy shit. It was the dad from Home Alone. It was
literally the dad from Home Alone.
That's crazy.
What's
John
his
Hurd.
name? John Hurd or something like that?
John Hurd got out of the car. I'm like,
I'll be damned.
Yeah, but yeah, they ended up having to pull up that floor so we could do an inspection because she was trying to refinance the house to be able to afford like medical care and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, they ended up having to pull the floor up. But yeah, I sat there for like 20 minutes and talked to John Hurd. It was cool as shit.
That's so cool. That is so fucking cool.
I'm looking at him right now. I had to Google him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, John Hurd. He was also in The Sopranos.
He was.
He was the detective that was on the tape that Tony owned.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
yeah, he ended up jumping off a bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
That was a violent show.
We know that ending.
The fucking
but it was
Sopranos. God, it was one of the best. Sopranos and 6 Feet Under, probably two of the best freaking series ever.
Except for the last episode.
You know what? The last episode, there's a lot of nuances in there that you don't think about, and they all go back to little Carmine Lupertazzi.
Okay.
The guy that always portrayed himself as an idiot was probably the smartest fucking one in the whole thing.
All right.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later, Jack. But yeah, I'll flesh that out for you eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. You got a story for us, Mike?
Well, yes. So I actually have a neighbor who bought her house 5-6 years ago, and called me about some skunks. So I think it was her second night in the house. She had skunks under her deck, so she calls me to trap some skunks, and I did. I trapped a couple skunks. Job over. And before I left, she said, "Do you do termites?" And I said, "Actually, yes, I do." And she said, "Would you mind taking a look in my basement for me?" And I said, "No, I don't mind." I mean, she lives pretty close. She's a neighbor. So anyway, I would have done it for anybody anyway. So I get down there, and I knew what was going on instantly. So her home inspector had cited termites, and this is what he had said to her: "You don't have to worry about it. They're old," which of course is the wrong answer.
Yeah.
Right.
So she showed me those spots, and I said, "It doesn't matter if they're old. It matters if they've been treated." And I said, "There's no system on the outside of your house, and this wood right here hasn't been treated. I can tell. There's no board here on this wood, and there's no timber." I said, "So the wood has not been treated." And then I started to look around, and the support beam itself had been covered with fake, thin, decorative like wood paneling. It was terrible. If that sounds like a train.
That's the train.
That's my train.
It's late.
So anyway, I unearthed a lot more termite damage. Then the home inspector company admits that they shouldn't have said what they said. They're going to take care of it. Then COVID happened. They disappeared.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. The woman, she still lives down the road, and she's a wonderful customer. I still help her with her home plan. But it's kind of sad. She as it all was playing out in the home. The home inspection company disappeared and wasn't going to help her. She was really sad, and she was crying, and she turned to me and she said, "If I knew that this house had this much termite damage, I wouldn't have bought it."
Right.
And and it's just sad because the home inspector that was there on the job was not experienced enough to deal with it. He said the wrong thing. Then COVID happened. They disappeared. They didn't take care of any new wood. They didn't do anything. They just completely disappeared on her. So she had to pay for that kind of stuff herself. And it was a mess.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Fucking fly-by-night shit, man.
Yeah.
Fly-by-night shit.
So in her situation, we treated the wood in the basement, and she has the advanced system on the outside of her house, and I'll be checking it in about a month and a half.
Right on.
To start the spring.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, it sounds like you did the right thing and got her out of it. Got working with her to get out of a bad situation. And yeah, that's outstanding. And you know what? That's the kind of service. That's the kind of service people like. So yeah,
hell yeah,
good work.
Fuck yeah, man.
You're going to remember that shit. So, hey Mike, how close is Rochester to you?
Couple hours. Couple hours west.
Okay. Yeah. Well, one of your colleagues a couple hours away, Tim Jackling, wrote in a story. He goes, I live in Rochester, New York. We don't have termites here. That's as you were saying. But one day I was sitting in my driveway and about to leave for work when my neighbor approaches. He informs me that his friend has termites and is hiring an exterminator. We shot the shit for a little bit. When I realized his friend only lives a few area codes away, I asked if they have a picture of the termites, and he does. He shows me a very blurry 3-segmented body, clearly not a termite. I show him a few photos of eastern subs and drywoods, and he also agrees not a termite. I hand him a business card and say, tell your friend to give me a call, to which I never hear from him or his friend since. I really hope they aren't getting taken for a ride by another company.
Oh, Donnie Marie jump on that shit with a heartbeat.
Oh, hell yeah. And they don't even do termite.
They still do it, though.
Like, oh, man. Yeah, I have no guys. On a totally untermite related rant here. These fuckers. It's like they don't do termites. They don't do bed bugs. They don't do this. They don't do that. It's like what do you do? Oh, that's right. What do you do? You take people's money to just go out and fucking throw a duster around and squirt some shit around their dirt. It's like, fucking Donnie and Marie.
Yeah, that's actually going to probably be our "you can suck it" story of the day. Just to have one. Because there's been on the I can't say the name of the company because they'll sue me, but they got the bright blue trucks, and there was a soda named after them back in the early 1900s. Begins with an M and ends with an oxy.
Uh-huh.
And they've been going into people's attics and saying they're finding rat droppings and mouse droppings equally fresh in the same spot. And they're going to need to have all their insulation removed, pay a ridiculous amount to have the insulation replaced, and a rodent service. And they're charging these people like $12,000 for this. And it just makes me so fucking furious. Right. Fucking Donnie Marie shit, man. Oh, my God. Jesus, and I'm gonna that's right at an hour and 1 minute. Mm-hmm. So I got to remember so I can put the "you can suck it" thing on there because fuck them motherfuckers.
That's right.
Fucking.
I hope every one of them marries like 5 wives and dies and goes to heaven and finds out that L. Ron Hubbard was right.
Well, they need to keep sweet prey and fuck the hell off. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Fucking Donnie Marie. Motherfuckers.
Assholes.
Don't get me started on that shit.
Yeah. I got a termite story.
Okay.
All right. Hey, man. Okay. I probably told this one before, but I love it so much, I'm going to fucking tell it again. So, it's when I was working at the Big Green Tea. Had a lady call. She had ants. And I go out there. Yeah, she had ants. I took care of business and got done with it. Like 2 months later, she calls me. She calls the office and is raising hell because she still got ants. She's like, God damn it, you guys aren't doing shit. Blah, 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 blah. You guys had a warranty. That's what should be free and blah, blah, blah. I get out there. I go into their garage and there are fucking termite swarmers everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I'm talking about. I'm like walking through them and they're just like it's like when you walk barefoot in the beach and the fucking water is, when it comes up and it's this way. The termite swarmers were doing that, just laying on the floor. I was looking at them. I was like, ma'am, you got termites. And she goes, oh yeah? No, those are ants. I said, no, they're termites. I said, okay, this was okay, Mike, I'm an old fucker. So this was before cell phones. This was before smartphones. This was before I could just Google anything. So I was like, let me go to my truck and grab my service manual and show you the difference between an ant and a termite. So I grabbed the big green binder for the Big Green Tea, and which, by the way, had absolutely nothing about bed bugs in it because that's how long I've been in the business. I get out there. I open the damn thing up. I said, okay. So I show her a picture of Ellie Mae Clampett, or I'm sorry, Katy Perry. And then I show her a picture of Ellen DeGeneres or Jane Hathaway. And she looks at it and she goes, "So those are termites?" I said, "Yeah." She busts out crying. And you know what? Usually I start getting empathetic. It's okay. Fuck that, man. Not the way she was yelling at me that day. I was like, not on this Chipper Tuesday. I was like,
I'm going in dry.
I was going in dry. Damn the hell, I did not have my 7B back then. Hell, I didn't even have my RT. I was Ghost Rider, man. It's like back then you didn't need to have an RT or a 7B license or anything like that. You just had to work under somebody that did. And so that was me. So therefore, I was ignorant. The other thing I knew was the difference between a termite and an ant. I couldn't sell it because I would have raked her over the fucking coals the way she was treating me. God, her tears were so delicious. It's like she walks back into the house to get a Kleenex. I'm looking on the garage floor, and I see one of her tear puddles, and I take my finger and I dig out.
Well, see, that reminds me of the song by the Bloodhound Gang. The song by the Bloodhound Gang that goes, "A lap dance is always better while the stripper is crying."
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, doggies. Oh, man. Okay, well, what a night. What a night. What can I say, man?
I'm spent.
And by spent, I mean I'm copping a good buzz right now.
Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna try to upload this one to YouTube as well. The regular episode's gonna drop audio only.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna try to do the video of this to YouTube as well. So hopefully you'll be able to see it there. So you can see Brad's shining face just all sexy on there and everything.
That's right.
Oh, hey, he's putting the titties and everything. Now, what are we doing next week, Brad?
You, Mike. Huh?
You too. Both you guys. Thank you.
What are we doing next week?
Do we have some dessert for the folks tonight?
Oh my God, yes, we do.
The much anticipated premiere from our good friend Bobby Baseboard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bobby, he's a baseboard motherfucker.
Baseboard motherfucker.
It's our tribute to Monster Magnet. Bobby Baseboard provided the music to it, and I, as the Tin Pan Alley kid of PCHD, provided the lyrics. So it's probably gonna suck horribly. But anyway,
no, it's fucking awesome.
We're gonna shove it down every cheesebag's throat anyway. So So stay tuned after the show for the world premiere of Baseboard Motherfucker 2.0.
Gonna be some good shit. Now, we don't have any idea what we're doing next week yet, but we'll come up with something.
Not a clue, guys. So, hell, we might have to have Mike back just because we can't think of anything else.
I got lots of stories.
Oh, Mike, man, it was a thrill to have you on again, man.
Always.
The pizza party last year didn't do you justice, so I'm glad to have you back on.
Hell yeah.
Jack, I missed you last month, and that's about as sentimental as I'm going to fucking get. So.
Yeah, fuck you too.
You know it. Yeah, you wish.
Well, all right, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us for Tales from the Crawl Space with our awesome guest, Mike Sheridan. We will be back next week. No fucking idea what we'll be talking about, but we will be back. So we ask you to kindly bug off.
Bug off.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
I've been stuck doing hotels for the last 100 days. My boss gives no fuck, that is as long as they pay. So I fill up my sprayer for a stroll down the hall. When I see all these moldings, I start soaking them all and sing, oh. Baseboard motherfucker. The lobby is empty, there's no one in the seat. The whole place is a dump, it smells like smegma and feet. When I ask for the list, it says I don't have one yet. So I find me a corner and start getting it wet and sing. Oh, yeah, baseboard motherfucker. In their headboards, I'm abusing my bait. They don't have the right keys, so they're making me wait. I'm pissed cause my tips clogged, there's bugs in the grout. So I take the damn thing off and I just go without and sing. Yeah, baseboard motherfucker. What's up, Tales from the Crawl Space? What's up, all you cheese bag motherfuckers out there? I left my tool bag at the other hotel. I must be standing at the threshold of hell. The time has come for me to make it quick. If that's a problem, they can eat my dick. Baseboard motherfucker. Baseboard motherfucker. Baseboard motherfucker. Baseboard motherfucker. Baseboard motherfucker. World expert motherfucker. One and only motherfucker. Yeah, you know who you are, bitch.
Thanks for listening to Tales from the Crawl Space podcast. You can find us on just about every single podcast outlet there is online. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll have a new episode next week. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram at TFTC Podcast, on Twitter at Crawl Space Tales, and you can also find us on Facebook at the Pest Control Humor Depot. See you next week.